Hi, Islamic Dad here. I'm going to do a video on time and how the narcissist perception of time seems to be different than that of normal people. For example, with my ex-girlfriend, we would be discussing our past, say, childhood, high school, college, 20s, etc. And one thing that came up very quickly was that my experience of the past was that there was the present, and then there was kind of this gradual drift into the past. There was a separation, a distance. So, there might be, say, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, something like that, where events far in the past felt far in the past. And my ex-girlfriend didn't have that same experience with her memory of the past. Basically, what happened yesterday was here. What happened last year was here. What happened 20 years ago was here. They were all the same in her mind. It's not that she had that kind of recall of every moment she'd ever lived, with extreme clarity or anything like that. These were specific moments in her life that had emotional meaning to her. But that said, an experience she may have had 6 months ago that had emotional meaning to her would be have the same weight and vividness in her mind as an emotional moment that she experienced 25 years ago. There was no sense of distance. That gradual slope into the past did not exist in her memory. And it was sometimes frightening, because we might be having a friendly conversation, be talking about things, and she might be talking about experiences that she had, say, in high school, and it was like she was re-experiencing them right there and then, like she was back in high school, back interacting with these people, and back there re-experiencing these things in real time. And at least for me, I found that very disturbing. It wasn't like she was recounting the memory, she was reliving it. And and for any of these past events that had like a strong emotional impact on her, it was like that. It was just boom, I'm back there 10 years ago. I'm on the East Coast, I'm talking to these people, I'm experiencing this. And like I said, it was very, for whatever reason, I found it very jarring and disturbing. So that was kind of her experience of the past, and kind of her memory of the past was very different. When it came to the future, and I think I had touched on this in other videos, to her the future did not exist, period. To me, the future exists, and it's out there, and we build the life that we want, say, in the present, and we travel through time and go into the future and experience things and experience that future. Not for her. For her, there's the present, and that's about it. She has a bank account. She has, some retirement savings. She goes to her job every day. So she's aware of like that, the practical implication at that level. Anything more than that just does not exist for her. So, at least for me, very often through, dating, you go, or at least I try to go through like kind of a vetting process to see if we match. And so I say, hey, where do you want to be in a year? Where would you like to be in 5 years? What would be your dream life that you'd be living in 10 years? And when I would ask my ex-girlfriend these questions, just blank, nothing. She, it was like, it was, it was like she was incapable of answering those questions, because her brain, either was not able to think of the future like that, or just refused to, if that makes any sense. And so, whereas everyone, typically that I know that's not a narcissist, they will have like these, potential futures depending on, which course in life they take, which choices they make. Not so her. I mean, it may sound, kind of silly, but it's like if you watch, Lord of the Rings, and there's Middle Earth, and there's elves and dwarves and stuff like that. To her, that's kind of what the future was like. It was make believe. There was no practical point in having any type of discussion about the future, because it just simply did not exist. It was Narnia. I mean, it was Hogwarts. It was imaginary. There was no weight, or any real existence even in her mind of a future. And so, as you can imagine, again, that was very frustrating for me. I know that one of the ways that it impacted us was that I'm very much goal oriented. Imagine the life that you want to have 5 years in the future, and bust your butt off to work to get there. That's how I operate. And she wasn't like that at all. And so when we would talk about, maybe moving the relationship forward in the future, moving in together, and, where we would live, and, what our life would be like in 5 years or 10 years, it would just stop. It's like her brain would hit a roadblock, and she just couldn't, contribute to those discussions at all. And I couldn't gather as much information as I had hoped on this, weird, and another quirk with narcissists, which honestly seems odd, because it seems like everyone knows that the narcissist's perception of time is very strange. It is not what normal people experience. But I wasn't able to find as much information as I had hoped. But the stuff that I did read kept referring to the narcissist being in what they would refer to as the eternal present, which makes sense. And it also fits in with kind of their choices in life as they move through the present, where consequences don't mean as much for narcissists as they do for other people. I mean, they hypothetically, they know, okay, if I go and I, sell drugs, and get caught, I'm going to do time. If I, attack someone in the street, and the police get me, I'm going to go to jail. Like, on one level, they know that, but at the same time, moving through life moment to moment, they kind of just ride. I mean, it was funny. I was speaking with my therapist a bit about it, and she described it as like they're like evil Taoists, where they're just in this zen of being present in the moment, but they don't do that out of a state of bliss. It's just going through life like a battering ram, not caring about consequences or how their actions impact other people. And again, back to that phrase, the eternal present. I think it does really fit with kind of how the narcissist perceives time in kind of a warped way. So again, I'd be curious to see what others have experienced with a narcissist in their life, both with their with the narcissist perception of the past and also the narcissist perception of the future. So if you could, if you have experiences along those lines, please leave those in the comments. And if you like these videos and you find them helpful, and you want to keep watching them in the future and be notified when they come out, please subscribe. That does help me a lot. Thanks.